Acknowledging dispatch. Already in pursuit.
I'm looking for something. Something I do not understand. Ready? Because there's no going back.
Greetings, programs. Tonight, we're looking at the trailer for Tron Ares, which is, as you've seen, coming out later this year. Joining me tonight is the oldest gamer. Hello, gamer. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Can you hear me all right, Trev?
Oh, yeah. I can hear you 100%, mate.
I've lost the stream. I'm going to have to come back.
Oh dear. All right. Well, we'll have him back. Oh, that's a good start, isn't it? Well, it must be a program on the problem with the grid. Also with us tonight is the Internet Help Desk. Hello there, sir. How are we?
Beep, beep. I'm a computer. Hello, yes. It's nice to be back.
I should have said greetings program and done it like the original Tron.
Oh, maybe you should. It was a classic movie. Love that thing.
Oh, and I like Tron Legacy. I know it's a bone of contention with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I really, really did enjoy that. That's a good flake.
To me, it didn't push the right buttons. But I mean, I can understand bits of it. You know, the artistic the artistic temperament of it was quite good, but it wasn't a patch on the original, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
one-
aesthetically, it was very similar.
Oh yeah.
And it adhered to the rules that
Tron actually
Steve
followed.
Lisberger had created for the universe of Tron.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, that all stems from designs from Sid Mead, of all people.
What else did Sid Mead do?
He designed the Sulaco in Aliens. He designed loads of things for movies, TV, you name it. Sid Mead had got his... I mean, he was a futurist, so he'd got his fingers in a heck of a lot of pies.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was great. Also, Mobius, is his name... Oh, I can't remember his name, French guy. Is it... Oh, Jean-Pierre, somebody or another, anyway. And he was very instrumental in creating some of the vistas used in the movie Tron. Also, I think Ralph McQuarrie had had a little bit of a say in how things played out. Either way, it was good for everybody concerned because it created a dynamic aesthetic which has now spanned 3 films. Obviously, we've only seen 2 of them, but it really does work well. The first movie, obviously the technology was in its infancy and it wasn't mature enough to pull off what Steve Lisberger was trying to envisage. And Tron, the whole idea started for a radio station commercial. You know, a TV commercial for a radio station.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Welcome back, gamer. Can you hear us, program?
I can, and I can see the program too, so that's a bonus.
Oh, that's all better. I thought you'd have gone Tron Wick. See what I did there?
I
did.
Tron Wick. I like it.
Also, give me the helmet and that speeder bike, and I'm set.
Nice. A little bit later on, we'll be having just a very, very brief skim of Mickey 17, which, instead of it having a full-blown cinema release, was released to watch via download services. I was sailing along and managed to find some flotsam and jetsam, and one of them was a copy of Mickey 17, which was quite bizarre, really. So anyway, let's take a look at some slides. That trailer starts with a fantastic view looking down on this city, which is almost reminiscent of the grid. What do you guys think?
It's very much like a circuit board. I've worked with PCBs before, and this is very much like, a PCB under a microscope. I think that's why they always go for sort of like these grid-like cities, because it just fits the tech aesthetic.
If you think about it, it's a logical design, isn't it? Straight lines.
It's an American design. They don't do that in the UK, but
no, I was just talking about like electronics and
general,
stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
because apparently it reduces impedance overall on a circuit.
It does. It's really weird because I like this. If you look at a PCB for a RAM chip, one of the RAM cards you get, some of the traces actually just loop back on themselves several times.
Really?
So it creates the same time difference between an electron going into the first chip and the electron going into the last chip, so that they enter and exit at the same time.
Well, wait till quantum stuff becomes a bit more accessible to everyday usage.
Yeah.
Do you know, in about 100 years' time, if we're still around, quantum computers may possibly be smaller than what we've got in mobile communication technology, like phones and smartwatches and stuff like that.
I like the theory, but I don't know. Quantum computing at this point is still it's in its infancy, and it's being used for certain things. There is, I think it's called the Q point, where once a quantum computer starts being used to figure out encryption algorithms, it'll do that ridiculously quickly, and the entirety of security is going to have to be rewritten, because whichever country figures out that algorithm first will be able to destroy anything. I think it's called
basically it's going to be like Colossus.
If you know
the story behind that with Enigma,
it's going to be a problem. And there are a certain number of people who think we've already hit that point, and everyone's just keeping it quiet.
I think we have hit that point, quite frankly. At least the U.S. military has, probably the Chinese military too.
Yeah, but how would we know? Mum's the word.
Right.
That's the problem.
But I like this. This is a great way to start a trailer.
Oh yeah, it does look
like a computer. And to your point, Trev, I think it's possible that we could see it get down to the size of a phone, only because look where computer technology was in the 1950s and early 60s.
Yeah.
The warehouses of data banks.
Well, in just around 100 years, we've gone from, well, not even that. It's not been 100 years. We've gone from valves to transistors, and look where we are now. We're down to nanometric layers in chips and stuff like that. Yeah. And Microsoft announced a couple of weeks ago that they've built the most amount of qubits onto a single chip, and it's ridiculously small for what it is. The only downside is the amount of cryogenic cooling these things need, because they have to be at or around absolute zero for them to actually be able to change states.
I think they'll figure that out too. I like with home computers that have the liquid cooling. I think they'll figure that out too.
Yeah.
Because from a practical standpoint, the data centers they're wanting to build in the United States, where they're going to need like rivers of water to keep it cool. At some point, they're going to have to figure out how to do that at room temperature.
Well, they've kind of figured that out already. Mineral spirits. Building computers inside boxes filled with mineral spirits.
See, I like the logic behind that, but the trouble with that is it causes plastic to corrode, which means the connectors, all the connectors that hold all the cards in.
It might not be mineral spirits. And they said it was something similar to it, and it was a semi-organic liquid, but it was non-conductive, but could passivate heat more effectively.
Yeah.
And there was it was boiling around the top side of the, just above the copper plate where your heat sink goes.
Yeah.
The bubbles coming off of that and just floating up into the tank was ridiculous.
I have seen setups like that. I mean, computers are my thing. I've been a computer nerd for close to 30 years. I've been building them for sort of like 25. So I
love one of the IT crowd.
I am. I've actually been told that I'm different to the IT crowd because I actually have a personality.
Well, you
that-
don't sound like Richard Ayoade anyway, so that's a good thing.
No, but I do keep telling everyone to just turn it off and turn it on again.
I mean, he sounds just like a nasally version of Richard Whiteley and Alan Partridge crossed together, doesn't he? You talk down your nose like that.
But you know what? I think if I got help desk on the phone, I feel like I get my answers solved.
Have you
Right,
tried
question
switching it
solved.
off and on again?
Yeah. Well,
Stupidly
it is a
enough,
solution.
it works most of the time. That's the stupid thing. It really does work.
How about this for a light cycle?
The light cycles are so iconic,
Yeah.
and I think this does fit. I do have some reservations about
Look at
this,
it,
but
it's
I will
real.
say that to the end. I know it is, and it's on a road, and okay. it does look good.
It does. What do you think, Gamer?
Oh, visually, it's amazing. And with the end of the second film, I don't even remember the name of the character where she left the Tron universe and became a real
Cora.
person. Yeah.
Hmm.
So having the bikes in the real world is intriguing, especially with that scene where the cars get split in half.
Oh, stop giving things away.
Oh, sorry. Shh, you didn't hear me say that.
No, we've already seen the trailer, so it's totally fine. I'm just messing with you. Speaking of which,
I like it. I mean, like I say, the bike looks outstanding. I don't know what motorcycle they used for these scenes. I don't think that's CGI. That's an actual motorcycle.
yeah, it's an actual bike. It's dolled up to look the part, isn't it? Really, and I just love it. This one comes up from behind the cop car, and then he sort of gets in position, and then there's this really good. I mean, look at that.
That's nice.
You could tell it's a real bike.
Yeah,
but just look at that. Doesn't look the shiznit? Oh, that is well sexy. And then he turns on his jet wall, and this cop car is talk about slice and dice.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy there, I think he's going to need a fresh pair of knickers. But just look at that. That is a clean cut. And the cool thing is, when whoever it is on that light cycle turns his jet wall off, it completely disappears. The whole lot just, goes into nothing. Who thought photons could be so dangerous?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
What I like from this still image you got there is that this CGI doesn't look bad. Where we've seen a lot of films of late where the CGI is just very poor.
Yeah, that looks convincing.
This looks very nice. It looks appealing. It makes it, like I want to see more. So
I'm intrigued. Once we've gone through the slides, I just want to circle back and just theorize what could possibly be happening, Yeah. Because I would like to try and, for us to scratch the surface just a little bit more, just to get a bit more out of things. So let's go through these slides. Look at that. That just looks so convincing. Do you happen to know the particular model of that police cruiser? Just by looking at the tail lights.
I've seen those tail lights before, but I couldn't tell you what they were from.
I don't know. I've kind
Because
of
it's the long strip, isn't it?
I kind of got like some kind of Dodge.
Well, I was going to say a Mustang or the Dodge Charger, maybe.
Yeah. It does look like a Dodge, though. To me, it
The
does.
short
anyway.
back window, yeah.
Yeah.
It speaks like it's a Dodge, absolutely.
Yeah. Either way, I'd still own one. Mustangs over here, when I see them, I just laugh. They're nothing like a Mustang.
What's the Charger?
No, they've started selling Mustangs over here now. But they've got piddly little engines in them.
Oh, you don't get the 450 or...
No. There's nothing like that at all. I can't remember. I think 3 litres about the highest engine they do in those.
Well, you should only have a practical car in Britain, right? You don't want something that's
we
fun.
don't.
We're an island. We have a small country. We have thin roads. We don't need a car that can do, 200 miles an hour. You'll end up in the sea.
I made a big mistake. I've made a really big mistake.
What?
Hello, chat.
Hey.
I completely
There we
forgot.
are.
Sorry, I'm getting so into this, Tron. Hello to Sword in the Storm, Gavin Blackburn, Franco Walker, Atom Gray's in there. Oh, also you're in there too, Gamer, and you. I forgot your name.
desk.
internet help desk.
It's written under my avatar.
I know.
You know,
Feltz-
you there in green.
Feltz 5 is in there. Lord Toxic. Hello there, mate. Who else? Let's see. Minum. Alonzo Mosley. He's with us tonight. Swappers. Hello, Swappers. Cartoon Man 154. Look at that gamer on screen. Can you see that? A lot of people saying, let's see, Dodge Charger, Chevy Umberto. Huh.
The only Chevy we get over here is a Lassetti.
I'm not sure what the Chevy Umberto is. It sounds like a car I don't want to own.
Oh my God. Atom Gray. Let's see if I can highlight this.
Oh, he's got a good comment.
No, that's the wrong
That's
one.
not it.
Chat moves.
Yeah, I hate it when it does that. Right, Atom Gray says, I always wanted the flying dirt bike from Megaforce. That's the Delta Mark IV, developed by Professor Eggstrom. He's the smart bloke, and that's no yoke. Sorry, it's an in-joke. Melvin's joined us as well. Greetings, Melv. Thank you for joining us. So, yeah, so these slides, they're absolutely cracking. Let me see if I can bounce us off and just get that picture. There we go. That's better. I am learning the controls.
I think Melvin's right. I think it is a Dodge Charger.
Maybe.
Well, and Adam's right. And to his point, like here in Florida, you'll see a lot of Mustangs, but a lot of cop cars did switch to the Dodge Charger. So it would make sense if this film was shot in the United States that would be a Charger.
Look at that. That's a great shot. I mean, look at the headlight on it. That just that screams. That's cool.
You're going to see that bike coming.
He's taking a look back, and he's obviously looking at his jet wall. And there we are. There's the driver or the pilot. Would it be a pilot on a light cycle, not a driver or a rider?
I think it's rider. I would say rider.
Apparently, according to Form, people theorize that this is Jared Leto, but I don't think it's from the side. Maybe it's the guy who plays Julian Dillinger. Oh, what's his name? Evan Peters.
Evan Peters.
Yeah. Maybe it's him. I would like to say, is it Sam Flynn? That would be cool.
Maybe.
But it's not. And then we've got these two bikes heading off into the hills. This is the part of the trailer where Ares says, I'm looking for something, but I don't know what it is. Which just sounds contradictory to itself. And then we've got this October. And then here's Greta Lee, who plays Eve Kim in this movie. She looks like she needs to change her underwear. And then this massive recognizer comes around the side of this building. If that was me personally, I would be standing in a puddle of my own piss. But that's just me.
I don't think I'd be hanging around watching it either. You see it like in Independence Day and other films. Oh, I'm watching this giant thing over, the Empire State Building. No, I think I'm leaving now.
It's funny that. Have you noticed? Whatever happens in a movie, there's always some fat ginge who looks like Princess Fiona in the background. Fiona, look at my tetes. Where's Donkey? So anyway, here's Gillian Anderson. Her character is unnamed in the IMDb credits. Hello to Tom Slick in the chat for joining us. Swappers says you can't beat the original Sid Mead designed light cycles. And I think to an extent that's true.
I would say these are a good homage, though.
Well, these are more in line with what we saw in Tron Legacy. Still, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, considering you run through the idea of a computer program being upgraded.
Yeah, I mean, how much time has passed since the second film?
It is entirely possible that a few patches would have led to, and modern technology.
Well, it's been 15 years since the last film.
Yeah.
So, in their world, has 15 years passed or so, then I think Help Desk is right that computers, they upgrade. So this is the new version of the light cycle.
Hey, Tom. This bugs me. Gillian Anderson, she's on everything. She's on a lot of TV adverts and whatnot over here. And she's just purely English. Oh, yes, I am. Well, and She's American, isn't she?
I believe so. Unless she was really good at hiding her English accent on the X-Files.
Well, it says she was born in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Ooh.
But now she's laying on this English accent, which is a bit fake, really. I never rated her in the X-Files. I mean, she's a lot hotter now than she was in the X-Files.
Matured like a fine wine.
Well, I don't know. She doesn't look so hot there. But on all this stuff she's on over here, it's, not bad. Not bad, I say. And there's this recognizer coming past this building. That, I'd pay money just to see that. And the look on those guys' faces.
Question, do you reckon this is CGI or do you reckon there was an element of practical?
I think it was a ball on a stick. You know, that I think is like an Unreal Engine background, like what he used on Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It would have been some sound stage somewhere, and some guy dressed in green screen with a tennis ball on his head walking past. Stare at the tennis ball, lads. There we go. But look at this.
The comments? Look at the comments that her accent here in the States was fake.
Oh. Yeah, hang on. I'm clicking the wrong thing here. Right. Franco says, I think she went to school in England. Her dad was in the army or something. Right. Swapper says she's British.
Right. She was born in Illinois, and soon after her birth, her parents moved to Puerto Rico for 15 months and then relocated into the United Kingdom so she could attend the London Film School.
Ah. So the US accent
lived
was
in Crouch End, Haringey.
Born in Chicago, raised first in London, says Cartoon Man. That is bizarre. Wow. So all that time in the X-Files, she was, even though she's American by birth,
right?
She's just
British.
putting on an accent.
Anyway, lived in England until she was 11.
Yeah, look at that recognizer. That looks beefier.
That does.
And more intimidating than the original one, but not quite as much as the one in Tron Legacy. It's got something about it, but Eve Kim, that's the character's name here, played by Greta Lee. She's obviously shitting her pants.
Wouldn't you?
Maybe it's the way you've got the slide. It looks goofy with the dark background.
Well, that's how it came. So
no, but I'm saying that this seems more CGI-ish than the earlier slides that you've had.
It's very convincing, though, and it gets better. There's more coming, trust me. So we're getting this in October. Worlds will, collide. But look at that. That looks exactly like a repurposed piece of imagery from Tron Legacy. It looks like the staging area. You know, when the solar sail arrived at its destination?
Yeah.
When it was containing all those programs, what was it? Rectify. All those programs that have been rectified to be soldiers for Clue.
You might be right, because you can see the light beams that they travel on.
Yeah, but if you look to the left, can you see all those things stacked up? What kind of look like photon torpedo casings?
Yeah.
They look like carriages, like what you'd find perhaps on a, on a solar sail transport. And there's obviously some kind of ship there on the right-hand side. Can you see it with like that figure of 8 kind of shape?
Yep.
That looks like the front of a ship of some variety. But here we've got a light speeder coming down this corridor thing. And I've got a close-up image of that later. But that is Tron Ares, and I would suspect that's Julian Dillinger who's on behind him. Actually, it's not a ship. Look, you could see closer at that shape there. It isn't a ship. I thought it was the front of a ship.
It's on sticks. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll take a closer look at that, because are users in the traditional bluey white colours and programs are all red in this particular instance of a grid? I'm guessing it's the grid, but a different version of. But look at that. Oh. Just look at the quality. And look at that. That's an I.O. tower in the background.
Yeah.
So I wonder what this is. Is this a backup of Flynn's grid? Or is this a backup of the Encom system?
I do like there's no there's no corners. Ultimately, it looks very industrial, very mechanical. It's just like it's right angles everywhere, and that does give it, it's all edged in the red light, so it does look incredibly. It looks incredibly. How can I put it?
It's got a bias to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, and I like it. I do like the aesthetic. I
But
really
it is.
do.
It is just. It's sublime for a Tronscape, shall we call it?
Yeah.
I just hope this film does not disappoint, because as Disney films go, it's seldom I actually want to see a Disney film.
They can't ruin another IP, can they? I mean,
my son's already planning on buying tickets for me and him to go and see it, so I would like to go and enjoy it at a midnight showing.
absolutely.
So we're getting this in October. Worlds will, collide. But you've got these digital warriors that are actually on the background image on tonight's stream. But I swapped it around, so Fubar Friday stood out. And then these are the other side. And this is Julian Dillinger, obviously Edward Dillinger's son. So he's got more than one son, because Cillian Murphy played his son in Tron Legacy, didn't he?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah. He was uncredited. In
That's probably
the
why I don't
boardroom,
remember.
the boardroom scene where they said, we're releasing Encom 10 to the world, and Bruce Boxleitner, as Alan Bradley says, well, what have you done different in this version? Oh, we put a different number on the box.
I guess I had forgotten that Cillian Murphy was even in the film.
Yeah, he was. I can't remember which Dillinger he played, but this is Julian Dillinger. I'm guessing this is his brother. I might IMDb it while we're chatting. So anyway, he's obviously central to what's going off in this. Maybe like his dad, is a bit pinchy when it comes to software, and he came across something like a backup of the Encom system, and he's recreated it, and he's found a way to go into his own grid. This is his own interpretation of the grid. And maybe there was a program with a clue-like plan to invade the real world from the digital world. Maybe. I don't know. So I like this bit here. This is really cool. You've got this, whatever the hell it is, heading towards a police barricade. And whatever it is just going straight through these cars. I wonder if that is like one of the tanks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
From the original movie. Kind of looks that way, doesn't it? If you think that turret is turned to the right, if it's perpendicular to the way we're looking at it now, you wouldn't see the barrel of the gun, would you? Because
going
it's
backwards.
Well, like I say, it's 90 degrees, the opposite way.
Right.
But it has got that shape to it at the front.
I worry it has a jet wall as well.
I don't know. I think that is like a digital crash, that bit you're looking at there. Or maybe some kind of like jet wall battering ram or a scoop, so it can go through barricades. So here we go. We're getting this bit where it's chopping and changing between. In October, worlds will collide. But I like this bit here. Whoever this character is, they're not in the credits, or are they? No, the credits are a bit sparse, to be fair. Yeah. So this character here starts de-rezzing. I don't know if you noticed in the trailer, but she starts screaming and she starts dropping to bits. Obviously, the de-rezzing doesn't look quite as good in these films. I mean, it was completely radical, different again in Tron Legacy. And it was good, but it wasn't quite the same. Once you've seen somebody de-res in a traditional way, you'd expect a bit more, of a light show when they go, instead of turning into cubes of pixels.
Well, could the de-res be this way because they're in the real world?
Maybe so. Hello, Vex.
Vex.
Vex has just joined us. What's this? Let's see what she says. The real question about Tron Ares is whether Leto's cult will make an appearance in the real world. You've spelt it wrong. There's nowhere. It should be an N, not an L. Moving swiftly on. Thank you for joining us, Vex. It's brilliant to see you in the chat. It's always fun. And then we've got some F-22s, some Raptors.
Yep.
Dropping missiles in. USA. USA. Go on. There we go. Trump's launching a missile attack. And look at that. You get a view of the recognizer from the perspective of a missile.
That's
How
pretty
cool
good.
is that?
Yeah.
It gives you a good interpretation of the size of these things, because when you're only on the floor looking up, it's very hard to actually gauge scale. But if you're looking at it like this and it's towering over the buildings, it gives you really nice.
Yeah, you've got that horizontal plane, haven't you, to take perspective from.
Yeah.
But if you notice, at left and right of that missile, we could see some jet walls.
Yeah.
So they're kind of heading towards that recognizer. Oh, and look, it's some light jets. And their jet walls take the explosion. They take the missiles out with the jet walls. That recognizer, that kind of looks like a fat version of Maximilian from the Black Hole.
Oh, that's going back a bit.
Yeah. Sorry. That might be before your time, Help Desk.
Oh, no. I love that movie. It's so bad.
It's so bad it's good.
It is.
You know,
Fantastic.
Jeffrey Perkins. Not Jeffrey Perkins, that's him out of KYTV. Anthony Perkins getting killed by a monster robot.
Oh, yes. Drill through the stomach.
Yeah. Reinhardt was gutted that book got wasted.
Yeah.
But look at them. Jet walls coming off these light jets.
Mm.
That looks the shiznit. And this is where Tron Ares has been rezzed. You know when it says, "Are you ready?" And he sort of starts rezzing.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Obviously starts with a little head and works his way down. But I just like how it's all, look, all those pixels, and look at all the light elements are all being built up. Cartoon Man said he was just thinking of Maximilian too. There you go. Oh, and it just, I love it. The exact opposite. Like when it first starts, the opening titles, Tron is rezzed, isn't he? Is rezzed into existence.
I think they're missing out on a trick here. I think they should have gone for triangles rather than squares. Because if you work in computer art, everything you do is based on triangles tessellating together.
I thought it was polygons. Or is that the same thing?
It's the same thing. So like it's basic, but it's all triangles. And it's how you lay them up against each other in different shapes that actually create things like curves, which you can't do with squares. So I really wish they'd gone for triangles. It would have looked, okay, that's a bit geeky, but yeah.
Gamer, has he done?
I think he is.
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Oh, look at that. Jared Leto's eyes are like dustbin lids. I wonder why. I bet he's been and powdered his nose. Well, anyway, this after being rezzed, this is Tron Ares. Obviously, it's Jared Leto. And there he is. I don't know. I
worry
I still
about.
can't forgive him for Blade Runner 2049.
I can't forgive him for Morbius.
You know,
Morbius,
since he played Rayon, he's just played the same character over and over repeatedly.
Can't forgive him for Joker.
That wasn't his fault, to be fair. Blame Snyder. And this is interesting. It's like the computer world is merging into our world. Because the sky's gone. It's turned into some kind of grid. And that recognizer's bumped into that building, which ain't good. Oh, Sword in the Storm says in the chat, I've just ordered RoboCop on Blu-ray. Anyone else know the difference about the director's cut? There's slightly more gore in it. Verhoeven got more shots. You get to see Murphy being shot in the head as opposed to being shot in the head off camera. And there's a bit more blood when Mr. Kinney gets murdered by Ed 209. But you'll see all that. There's slightly more gore in it. By the way, Monday Night Mayhem this coming week, we're doing RoboCop. Looking forward to that. So there we go. There's the logo, Tron Ares. Everybody's sort of wanking off about the fact that 9 Inch Nails are doing the soundtrack for it. And there's our date, 10th of the 10th, 25. which is kind of a convenient date for me, which means I'm not going to forget my daughter's birthday this year. Sorry, she knows different. So I was quite impressed by all that. So this is the interesting thing. Jeff Bridges is back as Kevin Flynn. How? He was backed up onto a memory chip, onto like an SD card, wasn't he, by Sam?
Yeah.
At the end of Tron Legacy.
It seems as though it's possible to take someone off grid and actually create a physical body for them.
Mm.
So it's entirely possible someone's taken that backup and just actually plopped him out and just made a copy.
Well, by the looks of things, he's in the digital world, not the real world.
Somebody got the disc and then popped them back in from the real world into the Tron world.
Oh, Sword in the Storm says that's why he ordered it. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Manumnum says, where's the girl boss then? I'm guessing that's Gillian Anderson. Maybe she's the chairman or chairwoman of NCOM in this movie.
I was going to say her eyes kind of looked digital in the still that you had, so I'm wondering, if she's...
I didn't see that because the only scene I've seen her in is that side shot.
Yeah, but I'm saying her eyes didn't look quite right. They looked like...
Oh, maybe she powdered her nose too. Nose candy is quite popular in acting circles, apparently. Yeah, I don't know. And is it a case of this younger Dillinger doing like what his dad did, a bit of plagiarism, digital plagiarism? And has he created his own, like I said before, his own version of the grid based on Flynn's his iteration of the grid? Because the original grid was the NCOM 500 series mainframe, wasn't it?
It could be, because I was wondering why everything's red. In the original films, wasn't the red obviously the bad guys in Tron? When they solved everything,
well,
the light came back and everything was blue.
Right? Can I explain to you why that is?
Yeah.
Right. Because those characters who were good had a purer power source, so their power oscillated at a purer frequency, which emitted bluer light. Because it was faster and more forward, whereas the other guys had slower power cycles. That's why it was red, like a Doppler effect.
Doppler effect, yeah, redshift. Okay,
see, that scientifically makes sense. That one,
yeah. So that's the theory. That was Steven Lisberger's idea about why there were different colours. And if you looked at Clue, he was like a subtle orange, wasn't he? He wasn't quite red. I was just... so I'm just like thinking, Garrett Hedlund in the early part of season 2 of Tulsa King was sporting the same hairstyle as Sam Flynn. So I wonder if he's going to be making a cameo of some variety. And does that mean Olivia Wilde would be back as Cora?
You would think. I mean, the fact that Boxlighter's not in the film.
No.
Unless, I mean, was it definitively said he's not in the film? Could he make a cameo and they're just not telling us?
I don't know.
If he was in it, I think they would have made a point of saying that he was in it. Just purely because it's, he's a mainstay of the series.
Of course he is.
So if he was going to be in it, they would have said, Bruce Boxlighter returns or something.
Yeah, but the thing is, that would have brought all the B5 fans in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Why were you chuckling at that one? I'm curious.
Oh, I'm a B5 fan. So
Cillian Murphy's character was Edward Dillinger Jr. So yeah, it's Julian's obviously his brother. I know it's a no shit Sherlock moment, but I just thought it was just worthy putting it out there so we got our factoid straight. Sword in the Storm, how can you? He was just mentioning in the chat about his power oscillates at the colour of yellow. Maybe he should drink more water. Maybe that'd help.
I'm cautiously optimistic about this
Me
film.
too.
I would like it to be good. I do have my reservations. I think it might just be because I'm jaded because of everything that's happened over the last 10 years, especially with Disney movies. But I would like it to be good. But I mean,
So would I, to be fair.
yeah. I mean,
It's the
it's
second
not.
film, at least on my radar,
Yeah.
after Ballerina, that okay, I can pencil in October 10th. That yeah, it's a film I want to go see. Now, a lot can happen between now and then, but right now, yeah, I would put this on the positive end of the scale.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Ballerina too.
Yeah. I do worry though, because whenever you have a video game movie that ends up in the real world, it doesn't always go well.
Minecraft. Just look at Jack Black.
Assassin's Creed, the original Mario movie.
Oh, hey, I like that. Yeah, a lot of people slate the original Mario movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper.
It was.
And Samantha Mathis, when she was gorgeous, she still is a little bit, to be fair.
Tell you what, as bad as Minecraft is, that movie's surging at the box office. And I think that's my son and I were discussing. I think that's just pure volume. That out of 165 million players, that you almost by default will make $1 billion. But
it's up against nothing else,
right?
The average age of the Minecraft fan is 11. 11-year-olds are still at that age where you can't really say no to them because they have a fucking meltdown,
and they're impressed
parents
by
just give in to them left, right, and centre. So I can see a high volume of it's kids. It's a kids movie.
Mom taking the kids to the film. Mom plus 2 kids, so you got 3 showing up. At least 2. I mean, you're going to have a fair volume just from that.
I mean, whether or not the movie is any good, it is a very good shot in the arm for cinemas. Cinemas are actually using it as a way to make a profit, and that's absolutely fine. I quite enjoy the fact that they're going to stay open a bit longer.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole name of the game, is everybody making money.
Yeah.
It's just nice that, I mean, fair enough. It's going to be a shit film. There's make no bones about it. Minecraft is going to be a bigger piece of shit this year than anything else. But I think commercially, it's going to be one of the most successful films of 2025, based purely on that it's targeting the right audience. Even if it's crap, it's got Minecraft written on it.
Yeah.
So kids
if
are
they're
just
smart.
go.
They roll that to Blu-ray and get the after run sales, because you're going to want kids. Mom, can we get one for home? So I think they'd be nuts if they didn't take advantage of that.
I do want to see the toy sales, though. How many people are going to buy middle-aged white man with big beard action figure?
That is a good point.
Jack Black looks nothing like Steve.
No. Matt Berry would have made a better Steve.
Yeah, but apparently there were scheduling conflicts, which I find bullshit, to be fair. Yes! I can't imagine it. He would have made a better Steve.
Yeah.
But I think he'd have slipped up. He'd have started to... He's just toast. And if he's not toast, he's Rick Sanchez. So I think he would have referred to who he was before by default. If that makes sense, chaps.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Still, unfortunately, it is a Titan that's earning a lot of money, whilst Snow White, if I remember rightly, domestically, it hasn't even hit 100 million. And it probably never will.
I think it's going to be the biggest bomb of the 21st century.
Oh,
I saw numbers that's going to be the biggest bomb of all time, which is hard to believe with the Marvels and the Eternals, but okay, there it is.
Yeah. For Disney, it's just it is the crown of failure, considering it's how the studio started. It was their first proper animated feature length, and now it's like the last thing they're actually ever going to do.
Here we go, help desk. One for you here if you want to read it out. It's for you.
Help Desk was cautiously optimistic about Daredevil, Skeleton Crew, and Severance. Not a good record for optimism. I think what we've learned from this is when I'm optimistic about something, it's going to be shit. My problem is I want stuff to be good. I would love stuff to be good. We are stuck in a pit of stuff where it's failing.
It's nice that you've got that childlike optimism as well. I find that really refreshing.
Yeah.
Your cautious optimism on Daredevil wasn't misplaced. There are parts of it that are still good. Like I say, I'm in it for all the way to the end.
One episode left, yeah.
There's one episode left. I'll watch it. It was a dual package with and/or season 2. I probably will not re-up next March to watch season 2 of Daredevil. I've seen enough that they've lost me.
Yeah. Is Private Pile any good in it?
Who?
Private Pile.
Private Pile?
That one's gone over my head.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Who plays Wilson Fisk in Daredevil in this iteration?
What was his name? The big guy.
D'Onofrio.
Oh yeah.
He was Private Pile in Full Metal Jacket.
What's
your major malfunction, Private Pile?
Jelly donuts, sir.
Oh,
right. Okay. Suddenly that makes a bit more sense. I couldn't place the name Private Pile into the movie.
Well, he called him that after Gomer Pyle, didn't he, from that TV show?
Fair.
What's that all about, Mel? Why the unsmiley face?
Yeah.
What has occurred? Have we missed something?
We've upset him. What do we do?
Full Metal Jacket, you weirdos. Yes.
Oh.
All right. Fine.
Oh, he's doing it to
I've
you,
never watched that film from start to finish.
That's fine.
The D'Onofrio reference went over my head. So
there we go.
I'm just useless with names. That's my problem.
Yeah, Jim Neighbors.
Mel, Full Metal Jacket, you weirdos.
Yeah.
Hail to everybody in the chat who I've not mentioned, by the way.
Also, I was going to say, I was right about Severance to begin with. They're the ones who screwed it up. And Skeleton Crew, fine if it didn't have a Star Wars license attached.
Right.
Cautiously optimistic.
Skeleton Crew was a bucket of fuck from the get-go, to be fair.
Well, if it was just, I think Internet Help Desk is right. If it was just a kids' adventure series and you took the Star Wars tag off of it, it probably would have done better on its own just as a standalone IP rather than we're going to shoehorn this in the Star Wars.
They had to shoehorn Star Wars onto it for people to understand its relevance, but it was of no relevance in the grand scheme of things anyway.
Correct.
If they dropped the budget to sort of like 20 million rather than the 180, 200 million that they did spend on it, they could have made it sort of like just, Treasure Island in space. And it might have been all right.
Well, haven't they already done that before?
There was the animated Treasure Planet, which, that was all right.
You make a good point. It wouldn't have been any worse than a show that aired on Disney XD or the other cable Disney channel because that's their wheelhouse. So again, you could have created a new IP property and called it whatever, Space Kids. Like I say, they've done that before or whatever. But enough people have seen it that say it wasn't, I guess the way to put it wasn't terrible. I didn't watch it at all. But I think it becomes more jaded when you throw Star Wars on it because you're watching this and it's like, this doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars.
Well, when you stick a brand on it like that, there are expectations involved. If you're promised Star Wars, you want Star Wars.
Yes.
Not some...
And it doesn't have it doesn't have to have lightsabers.
No.
But it has to be part of the Star Wars universe. And from what I saw of trailers and people talking about it, it doesn't fit the Star Wars mold at all.
Well, if you're doing something in the Star Wars universe, it has to adhere to its rules and anything what's a kind of a covenant and a well-known fact. That's why shows have Bibles. They have canon. Yeah. And that gives purpose to the IP. And then you get these people coming along, oh, yeah, well, we're doing this and we're taking this out of canon and we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we're doing something different. Well, hang on a minute. Then you're not technically doing what it says on the tin because you're trying to manipulate it and malform it into something else. And that's no longer the product that you're delivering because you've gone out of your way purposely with intent to mess with that product.
You've just described Doctor Who. You've described Ahsoka.
Everything.
That's exactly what they've done.
There's another one now. There's I think it's Devil May Cry, Netflix series.
Oh yeah, I want to watch that.
As long as you don't expect it to be anything like the games, because they've completely ignored all of that. And there is one character. I shall not ruin too much, but there is one character who just cannot stop swearing, and it kind of
is her name Mavis.
No. But it is a her though. But you'll see.
I've got a feeling I know who it is.
Yeah, and it's just from everything I've seen about it. I've played Devil May Cry.
I'm still playing that on the PS2. I love it.
It's a good game, yeah. But
The
as long as
original
you,
Devil May Cry is just fantastic. I still love it now.
yeah, as long as you don't want anything about the game in the TV series, you'll be fine.
The only thing I want in my life when it comes to Devil May Cry is a retro gem for my PS2, and then it's on HDMI, and then I can play it in really good quality.
Fair.
Oh, I love that. PS1s, PS2s with add-on boards where you can make them HDMI compatible. I'm still desperately trying to get an X station for my PlayStation 1. That's where you remove the laser unit and replace it with an SD card reader. That is one of the best things you could do to an original PS1.
How do you play the older games then? Just off the SD card?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Apocalypse. I do that just to play Apocalypse all day long.
Because what you could do with the original PlayStation 1 discs was actually use something like, I think it was Nero back in the day. You could actually convert it into an ISO file. And then you could burn that ISO file onto another disc. And if you had a chip PlayStation, it would work. Well, there was no, it had the wobble protection in the middle. But if you chip the PlayStation, then just any disc writing would work.
Well, as somebody who was quite up on the on that particular thing, I mean, at one point when mod chips came out for the PS1, I was doing something like 200-300 a week.
I installed my own mod chip for the PlayStation 1. That was my first proper bit of soldering. That was.
I used to buy them from a guy in bulk in Doncaster. I used to drive up to Doncaster and just buy massive tubes of these program pick chips.
Now, what were you doing with the mod chips back in the day?
Just putting them in PS1s.
No, but to what end? Because I didn't own the PS1. My first one was the PS2.
It just took the protection so you could play copied games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love the copy protection because it's brilliant. It has what's called a wobble track in the middle of a PlayStation 1 disc, which is intentionally, it oscillates back and forth. When you try to copy the disc, the reader sees it as a disc error and so corrects it to make it straight. So as soon as you
write it, gay.
Pretty much. So as soon as you write it to a new disc and put it in, the PlayStation doesn't detect the wobble, so it knows it's a fake disc. So it's almost impossible to copy. What the mod chip does is basically interrupt that signal that says it's a straight line and just says it's a wobble.
Hello, Badfoot. Thank you for joining us.
Is that how people were hacking then on the PS2, like with games like SOCOM, where they became invincible? It was like a Mod 9 hack or something like that?
Oh, that was memory interrupts from things like Game Genie, where you'd actually you'd intentionally type in sort of like all these weird codes that would write into memory, and then that would just replace information going into memory about how many lives and how much you got hit, and just replace it with data saying everything was fine.
Speaking of Game Genie, when I play stuff on my Mega Drive, aka the Genesis for our American friends, when I put Game Genie codes into my EverDrive, it just locks it up. It sends it crazy. But like, say for instance, I'm playing Mortal Kombat and I do the cheat codes manually myself because I still know them all. How bad's that? I still know a hell of a lot of cheat codes for original Genesis games.
Oh, I've forgotten all of them, like for Sonic. It's been so long.
I'm not particularly bothered about Sonic as I've got older. When it was fresh and new, I was up for it. You know, I was there. But I don't know, MK, stuff like that. Flashback.
For Super Mario Brothers, that was a good one.
I've never ever done Nintendo. I don't like.
You didn't like the NES?
I personally despise Nintendo.
Wow.
Always have. There's just something about Nintendo what didn't click with me. But I was like Atari, Commodore, Sega, anything like that, and I was up for it. But as soon as you bring something out and it's got Nintendo on it, nope, sorry, not interested, thanks.
Interesting.
I don't know, I'm very biased like that.
We had both. I had the Sega Genesis, and my brother had the NES. So we kind of went back and forth with games.
Yeah. No, there's just something about Nintendo. I played Mario when it first came out on the original Nintendo.
Yeah.
And there was just something about it. I just did not. Sword in the Storm says Nintendo is miles better than Sega. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. That's wrong.
Mm.
Sorry, sir.
Who, me or Sword?
Sword. No, he's wrong.
Yeah,
Nintendo
definitely.
is not miles better than Sega.
No.
Nintendo started off as, I think they made playing cards.
I thought they made those little ball bearing pinball machines.
They probably did as well. The pachinkos.
I'm sure that's where I read they started initially.
I'm curious about Trev's aversion to Nintendo. Did you just not like the games? Is that basically what was off-putting?
I
That
don't like
you
the
like
company
product better with
ethics.
Sega?
I don't particularly like the games or the IPs that they own. I didn't particularly like the fact that their machines were considerably more expensive to purchase. Everything about Nintendo was just about generating as much cash out of idiots. Atom Gray says, never had a Nintendo. Not sure if I ever even played Mario. Well, you're lucky because you're not missing anything. And another comment here, Cartoon Man 154 says, they're shitty business practices. Yes, Nintendo has a really, really bad reputation. More so now that digital ownership's become a bone of contention, because now they have the right to stop you playing any game and take it off you at any point.
Well, this is the thing about the Switch too. The majority of it is going to be, you're going to buy a box, and if it has a cartridge in, it's just going to download the game off of their store, or it's just going to have a code in that you type in and it downloads the game.
Yeah, almost like a key to unlock this stuff.
Yeah,
You don't
so
really have
you're
the
not
physical
really
media
going
anymore.
to own it. You're going to have to download it.
Yeah,
That's kind of like what PlayStation is right now. I'm just trying to think the last physical disc I bought, but my son was pointing out that even if I had a disc, the game is actually still being downloaded. And I think I'm just trying to think of Battlefield 2042. I want to say it was still 100. Was it 100 gig download? I don't think much of the material was held on the disc because you don't need the disc to launch the game.
Do you know when I thought to myself, it's time to stop buying games? When everything started heading the way of DLC. That was a death knell for gaming for me, to be
I didn't
fair.
mind the DLC for games like Battlefield 4 and some others because you were given quality content. Now they so spoon feed it out. I don't want to keep referencing Battlefield, but the most recent iteration, there's very few maps. Whereas you go back to a game like Battlefield 4, I was talking with Vex, and it's like when I re-downloaded Battlefield 4 to my PlayStation 4, it took me 3 hours because there was that much maps and content. Where now it doesn't take that long to download a game at all, and so you're really getting cheated. And I think they're raising the prices on a lot of these games. I heard that the cost for some of the games for the new Switch is going to be
$80 or $90, depending.
Yeah, that's absurd. And so Xbox and PlayStation are probably going to follow suit. I don't know if there's a game that's worth $100 or $90.
GTA 6 apparently is looking at 100. I doubt it will.
Yeah, they can keep looking. I won't pay $100 for a game.
But when it comes to game development, it is an expensive thing to do. You know, because
but that's on them.
better and better. It is, I know, which is why, smaller games like Balatro have become really popular.
When they're fucking about wasting time on development and getting things wrong, why should we be made to pay for their errors in production?
Absolutely, for the beta test. I mean, and sort of the story makes a good point. Battlefield 4 was amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we're beta testers. The game is usually not ready to launch. It might be a year or 18 months before it's been fixed.
Yeah, this is what did me. The last game that I really, really pined for and wanted was Aliens Colonial Marines on the Xbox.
Yes, I remember that. It had a spelling mistake in one of the
Not just that. I wanted it for my birthday. I can't remember whether I was sub 40 or post 40. But anyway, I got it a full 2 weeks before release date by some miracle. And I thought, wow, early birthday present. And I started banging my way through the game. And hello, Brian. Thank you for joining us. And I was getting stuck in holes in the scenery. I was getting stuck on staircases. There were just basically render errors everywhere. Yeah. It was a fucking nightmare. And I was just really pissed off. Badfoot says in the chat, where is it? I can't find it. What's this? PS3 was the last console I bought, sold it 4 weeks later, which is a shame because if you had a Model 1 PS3, that was actually backwardly compatible
Yes.
with everything. So whether
The
you
60
had
gigabyte console.
PS1 games or PS2 games, it would play everything, and that was just fantastic. So in the
My
Sun says,
PS3 went yellow light of death on me. I ended up having to buy a second
yeah.
version of the PS3.
oh, Sword in the Sun says Clone and Marines was such a, yes, it was a fucking disappointment. I am still gutted.
Mhm.
Evening, chaps, says
Tomby.
Tomby.
Hello,
Hello,
Tomby.
Tomby. Hey, old Tomby. Thank you for joining us tonight, matey.
Colonial Marines was weird. It had one spelling mistake in a line of code that balked the alien AI. So it was basically, if you stood still, it would walk right past you, which obviously it's not supposed to do.
Well, getting stuck on the scenery was a good.
Oh yeah, falling
a
through the
good
scenery was another
cheat
problem.
too. They couldn't get you if you were stuck on the scenery.
Yeah,
So you'd get a xenomorph trying to kill you, swiping at you, and it was just
he couldn't do anything. Yeah,
You'd be there all day. You might as well just go make a cup of tea or, brew a pot of coffee or something. You've got plenty of
Yeah.
time. Maybe even go for a smoke if you've got them.
yeah.
Oh, Sword in the Storm says, Trev, did you play Alien Isolation? Yes, I played 2 different versions of that. I played the cheap seats version, and then I got the other one, which was just fantastic. There were so many good callbacks to Alien in that.
Mm.
And then when you could play it as, other members of the original movie, I thought that was fantastic too. What a game. I might play that again tomorrow. I've still got it somewhere. In fact, I loved a lot of the original AVP games too. I still like
Those any
one.
good?
I still enjoy playing AVP for the PS2.
Wow.
Nice.
It's such a good game. Oh, what's the other one? Oh, crikey. Oh, bloody hell. It'll come to me eventually. The one where you can be the alien number 6. Well, what's that one called? I just can't. And I've got it. I just can't get it out of my head. What
The
it
one
is?
where you can be an alien number 6.
Yeah. No, number 6.
Huh?
Let's see how good you are at climbing. The one where you've grown in a laboratory and you're being trained. And can somebody in the chat please fucking help me?
The only number 6 I can think of is The Prisoner.
No.
Oh, that'd be a good game.
It would be an excellent game, I think.
Oh, it's fucking doing me now.
Franco, Driver 3. That was awful. I had that game, and it was worse than you say. In fact, it's so bad. There's very little. If you look on the Wikipedia, there's almost no information about it. There's almost no videos about it. Driver 3 was so bad, it's kind of disappeared off the face of the planet.
You want to play a bad video game? Try Formula 1 Simulator on the Commodore 16. That will make you commit murder.
Oh no, big rig off the road racing. It's so badly optimized. If you hold left and back on your keyboard, you end up reversing at about 100,000 miles an hour.
All right, okay.
It's really bad.
Tommy says, "Is it Fireteam Elite?" No, it's not. I'm just looking it up now.
Did you guys ever play RoboCop?
Yeah. On the
That
Amiga.
came out for free on PlayStation Plus this month. I got it, so that's on my list to play.
See, I've got Xbox Game Pass, so I have a ton of games to go through. I've got it because my kids play on it as well. But there's so many interesting games on there. So you get all the the expensive ones like all the Tomb Raiders, Power Wash Simulator, and Atomfall has just come out. But then you also got little independent ones like Balatro, and there's one that's just come out called Blueprints, which is, if you have Xbox Game Pass, play Blueprints. It's like a card game roguelite, exploring a mansion that changes every single time you go in there. It's really cool. And it's made by, I think, if I read, it's sort of like it's made by one guy sitting in a bedroom somewhere. And I think we're going to have a resurgence of proper indie games coming back now.
Some of my favorite games were indie games. So yeah, I would love to see a resurgence of that.
Yeah. So they're going to come back because people aren't going to buy the fact it's an $80 or $90 game. They're just not going to, because people don't have the money.
Swappers, yes, it was Xbox 360. I'm just trying to.
Still trying to find it.
I've had. Do you know? I've had to text my son to ask him what it is because he'll know what it is because he bought it me. But do you know my memory? Ever since I had that stroke, I've been fucking useless. I get stuck in a loop, and I'm trying to think of something, and the more I try and think about it, it just sends me around the twist. Oh, hang on. He says Alien vs. Predator 2010. At the same time as Melv. Oh, my God. That is spooky.
Ooh,
Yeah, he just posted
cool.
a comment. That's funny.
Yeah, AVP 2010. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, it was AVP. Sorry. Yeah, because you can do the bit where you play as Wayland and it's Lance Henriksen.
I miss the old, there were some proper. I mean, you had the dirge games, in the older days. Yeah, in the old games, the old computers, they're sort of like they're just shovelware. They just stick on anything. But then you had a period of some really, really good games coming out. Things like Worms. Everybody I know,
bad game.
Everyone I know played Worms, and then you have Worms 2, Worms Armageddon going right through, and it's sort of like hit 25th anniversary now, which is sort of like it's amazing.
It's like Lemmings. That was a big thing as well from the Amiga.
Yes, and that it's iconic music, it's iconic gameplay. It's really easy to pick up and very difficult to master. That's a good game, and it goes right up through into the sort of like the PlayStation era. You had some great games on the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, and then it started to sort of like slow down and games got too big, and you ended up with sort of like people insisting games had to be 4K. And that's where it went wrong, because 4K requires so much space. It's
4K is overkill.
It's 16 times more data than 1K.
Yeah, but wait till they come out with 8K, and then there'll be 16K.
But there's unless you have a screen the size of a cinema, 8K. And
you can't appreciate. You can't see some of the
No.
pixelation. Yeah.
The thing is, they come out with all these technological standards before the equipment's even ready to bloody play it.
PlayStation 5 used to say 8K compatible on the box.
Nah.
It did. The original ones
when
did.
It first launched, absolutely did. Yeah.
And they took it off because they realized that nothing actually does 8K.
Right.
I think part of that is Japan is so far ahead. I mean, like the United States was behind forever with 40p televisions, where Japan had high def for years.
Yeah.
And it was like dragging the United States across the finish line for us to get HD televisions. Now it's progressed a little more, but it's like the whole 8K point. I don't know a single person that would need 8K. I mean, I know a few people that own 4K televisions, and it doesn't mean people don't. I just don't know anybody that does.
Badfoot in the chat says 8K at the moment is 15 frames per second.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Imagine playing GTA at 15 frames a second.
No.
Hey, it's like it'd be like playing fucking Doom. Like on the original DOS version.
The original DOS Doom. Yeah.
Doom.
I still enjoy. I love playing that game, and Wolfenstein as well. Oh man,
Doom was written to be incredibly optimized. It's the reason why when people are trying to hack, computers or fridges and things, the first thing they'll run on it is Doom, because Doom will run on a literal computer powered by a potato. Because
think of all the old games that ran on DOS. I mean, one of my favorite games is Dark Forces. the original.
I like Monkey Island.
Oh, Monkey Island was fantastic.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia, that's a good one.
All of the old LucasArts games.
Well, that's why I say Dark Forces. Yeah, but all of them. They were all great.
Yeah. Day of the Tentacle. That was amazing.
In the chat. He says, I realise now how awesome the Neo Geo games were. They were bloody expensive too. Incredible pixel art graphics that still look gorgeous. A very welcome alternative to bland modern polygons.
Yeah.
What's this? Tomby says, have you played the Doom written in a PDF file?
You can, yes, because the programming of a PDF file is can be its own programming language, so you can actually play Doom
Bloody
inside
hell.
a PDF.
Have you
It's
got a
very
link,
ridiculous.
Tomby, you could put in the chat so people could check that out? That'd be great.
It's
Swappers
great.
says, Trev, get an emulator console and download all the old ROMs from different formats. You get to see how great old Nintendo, but fuck off about Nintendo, PC Engine and SNK games were.
Yeah.
Well, I've had MAME and I've had everything, and tried it and played it, and I haven't been overly impressed with emulation. I prefer the original thing.
Mhm.
I'm quite happy to have my PS1, PS2, Xbox, and my Sega stuff all up to a reasonable standard. And I'm quite happy with that. I don't need to buy anything else because I found the niche what suits me best, and I don't really want to move out of that comfort zone. Cartoon Man 154 says, and the pregnancy test Doom.
Yeah, although that wasn't Doom running on the pregnancy test. They were just using the little screen in it as a monitor. It's absolutely ridiculous. You can play Doom in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Just bring it around in a circle. It's so amazing.
But the thing is with Minecraft, it's like, there's a new mod every other week and everybody's going mad for it.
Yeah.
And then they're playing it as, it was that zombie train thing last week. That was the big thing, wasn't it? Or is that Roblox?
I was just happy to get my platinum trophy playing Minecraft. I don't need to play the mods.
Gavin Blackburn says, Billy Mitchell recommends emulation.
Oh, the King of Kong. Wanker. He's a lying, cheating, lying liar.
Melvin Deeply
Allegedly.
says, wait, was it a PDF or was it a spreadsheet? I can't remember. I would suspect it would probably be a spreadsheet because you can actually run executable macros inside of that, can't you? I mean, I'm just throwing that one out there.
Yeah.
Hello, Andrew Broadbent. Evening, guys. I know Trev was
Hello.
excited about this one. Well, we've done talking about Tron Ares, and we've had a bit of a chat about it, and we've kind of gone off on a tangent from the computer realm of Tron into the computer world of retro gaming and the like. So we've kind of gone down a rabbit hole, but it's actually been quite a good one.
Man, I really love.
Was that a good
classic
Huff and
computer
Puff or a bad Huff and Puff?
It was a good Huff and Puff, sort of like
Good.
thinking back and just, there were some old classic games that I think everyone just played, and I miss being able to play them. Theme Hospital. If
Oh my
anyone ever
God.
played Theme Park, Theme Hospital, they were ridiculous games, but they were so much fun. In fact, there is a game called 2 Point Hospital. It's made by some of the same guys that's come out very recently. It's brilliant.
I wasn't Oh God in You help desk. Andrew Broadbent said he's been to Workshop tonight. I do apologise. It's a really bad place. Franco says Doom on PDF.
Yep.
There you go. doompdf.pages.dev/doom.pdf. I wonder, that's great. And Sword in the Storm thought it, and I thought the same thing too. You can rearrange the letters of Tron Ares into Tron Ares.
Nice.
Nice. Tomby also says you can download the PDF locally and play it, which is worthwhile.
Yeah.
I actually quite like that game you can get in Google when you've got no connection, where you're the jumping dinosaur.
Dinosaur, yes.
Yeah. I think that's taking a poke at Mozilla, don't you? Because Mozilla's mascot was a dinosaur, if you remember.
Pointless fact.
There's a great documentary out there. Oh, God, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Code Rush. And it was about the release of Netscape.
I love Netscape.
Netscape Navigator.
Yeah.
And, the people behind it at Netscape programming it. And it sort of kind of lifted the veil on the life of a programmer, what they get up to and, what it's like to be at a computer desk for 26 hours straight and getting 4 minutes sleep and then getting back on the treadmill. Evening, Hooded Man. He says, good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to the round.
Do you know why it was called... Sorry.
I'm going to have to just hold everybody up a minute. Sword in the Storm was saying, now we've gone off on a tangent. He wanted to know DVD or Blu-ray Well,
Blu-ray.
I kind of like Blu-rays, but if I can't get it on Blu-ray, I definitely get it on a DVD.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
But then again, I've not been overly impressed with some of the quality of some of these Blu-ray releases, because all they've been for older movies is just really wank upscales. Why bother? If you can't take it off the original print, if you can't get your hands on the original source material and scan it and take the time to do it lovingly and do it in a way what's honourable to the source material, then don't fucking bother. And that pisses me off. If you're paying a premium for a Blu-ray, you want Blu-ray quality, not re-upscaled.
Right.
I don't know if
think some
anybody
of
else
the
is in
4K
that same...
remastered films have actually been pretty good.
Yeah, but if they're rescanned at 4K, then I don't mind, because the quality of 35mm is far superior than any sort of modern resolution. You can't beat it optically, because all that information is in there and it's perfect. It's pristine.
Yeah, no, I mean, you'll see some movies that are restored from multiple cuts of the same film, and the quality is amazing. And that's not high def. That's just the original analog with the layered, videotape over and over again. I forget what movie they did that with. Was it Gone with the Wind? There was one that they did where they had multiple prints and they saved the film by redoing it that way. I can't remember the name of the film, though.
Tommy says 100% agreed.
Yeah.
He says need to be remastered from source. And Sword in the Storm, this is the point I was making. He says, I've seen some Blu-rays that are just a lift off the DVD. Yeah, or they've been just cheap upscaling.
Yeah.
If you, like I say, if you're going to release a film, do it from the original source material. What is the fucking point?
All my older films are DVDs. The newer films are Blu-rays. So that speaks to your point that.
Oh, this is a good one. Cartoon Man 154. True Lies and Aliens 4K is just AI upscaled. Yes, it is. And it doesn't look great from what I've seen. No, it doesn't. And have you noticed it's James Cameron being cheap and lazy? Which is, I don't know. You hear some rum stories about these big directors. They're not as creative and groundbreaking as they first appear. Because you can nick somebody's idea in the creative realms and get away with it. Because, when you become somebody big, you've got that power to silence other people that you've ripped off.
Yeah. Speaking of upscaling, there is a fantastic video by Tom Scott from a few years ago where he was talking about the different ways stuff gets upscaled. And the references he used, you had Smash Mouth All-Star. It was recorded in sort of like traditional SD, which is 320 by 240, I think. And it used AI upscaling, which
I agree,
made it look really bad.
Just look at the first Thingamabob film, the Giant Smurfs. I know the name of it, I just can't get it out. Avatar, thank you.
Yeah.
That, I wasn't overly impressed with that. I went to see that on the opening night. And yet again, Cameron trusts the technology too much, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed with Avatar because it just looked plastic. It looked cheap. It looked fake. It has got that sort... It almost like, when... just as an analogy, in The Fly, the one with Jeff Goldblum in it, and he gets 2 pieces of steak and says to Gina Davis, oh, try that one. And she's like, horrible. She tries the other one. Oh, it's delicious. Well, why didn't you like that first one? Well, it tasted synthetic. Everything James Cameron's done since Avatar, it just feels synthetic. And that Way of the Water, that was the biggest pile of dog spunk I'd seen in years. It was shite.
Yeah, it was. The thing about Avatar is it's, this huge, grand thing that signifies absolutely nothing. And as soon as it's left the cinema, I don't think anyone actually remembers much about it. People just go, oh, it looked pretty. Is about the only thing I can remember. I remember nothing about it.
Franco says, Avatar bored me to tears. My wife absolutely adores that movie, so I automatically hate it. No, I don't think you've got any problems there. Cartoon Man 154 says it makes everything looking like they have way too much makeup on with AI. Yes, it does. You know, it does. It's got a thing to it. You know, you just look at it and you think that doesn't look quite right. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't blame people for not wanting to watch. I don't think when the next Avatar comes out, because he's doing 137 different versions, isn't he? And he's going to release one every 5 years. I reckon they'll be still coming out like 20 years after James Cameron pegs it. You know?
Did you see the last one?
It was shit.
No, I had no desire to see it. I was just curious. Yeah.
No, it was utter shit. And
I mean,
do you
with
know
all the
what?
hype, you know, and you're like saying he'll have movies coming out after he's pegged it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Maybe that's just me. I mean, people go to see it, but I don't understand the attraction. So much time has passed from the first and second film that I lost interest.
There's too much of a gap for the continuity to be credible.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what's worse than Avatar?
Yeah.
This film. I thought this was an absolute pile of steaming shite. Mickey 17, starring Pattinson. What's his name again? I forgot. Robert, that's it. I got Rupert in my head for some reason. He's just such a fucking plank of wood. He's like watching paint dry. I find him boring. He's hard work. Imagine if constipation could be a person or an actor, it would be Robert Pattinson or or whatever the fuck his name is. How are we saying it this week? Do you know what I mean? He's just hard work. And I watched this, and ages ago, we were having a look. One of the first Monday Night Mayhems, I think it was, where we had a look at what was coming out this year. And I was really stoked for Mickey 17.
Well, that was my initial thought, too, about the trailer. That the concept seemed solid, but apparently does not deliver.
No, it doesn't. It sadly does not deliver. There we go. That's a little bit better. No, it didn't. One Patterson is bad enough, says Brian in the chat.
Yeah.
But it was. I had high hopes, and the premise is kind of good in a way because it raises ethical questions. You know, what does it mean to be human? You've got that whole, well, if you're a clone, do you lose your human rights? Are you the same person? And it's just getting digitally reprinted on obviously a 3D printer, but one that can do biological gubbins.
Yeah.
And his character's Mickey Barnes. He's not that bright. He's basically his mate makes him get a loan out with some loan sharks, and he picks the worst loan shark ever in that universe. So obviously he signs up to go to this planet, and it's this failed politician, and it's basically one big Mark Ruffalo having a monster.
Ooh. Has Trev gone or have I gone?
I think he went because I thought we lost the feed.
Oh, no, I'm still here. Hello. Yeah, so Mickey 17.
Chad, do you still hear the help desk? I guess we need somebody to chime in.
Oh.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Hang on.
Oh, there's Trev.
You dropped out. Hello, Clem Fandango. Hello, Stephen. Can you hear me?
Trev, can you hear us?
Adam
Gray or somebody in the chat, can you hear us?
Chat's still going up. You're back. You're muted. You're back.
The clock stopped ticking. I think we're off. I think the stream got.
Oh no, I still see the clock ticking.
Do you?
Clock's still ticking for me. Ooh, I see chat going up and everything.
Yeah, my chat's frozen, but that happened to me 2 weeks ago too.
Oh no. Yo, chat, stick some Fs in the chat if you can still hear us.
Yeah.
Now here's the problem: you have the YouTube delay where suddenly everything.
Then everyone's gonna be saying, "Yeah, I can hear you. What are you talking about?"
Hey, there's Melvin guessed to find Trevor's gone. Oh dear.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
it's a Fubar without Trev.
So yeah, well, Mickey 17 was certainly an interesting movie. I did have the unfortunate fact of watching it, and I did want it to be good, and it really wasn't. Which,
I mean, you actually went to the film expecting it. I mean, your expectations were high. You weren't jaded
yeah,
going in.
no, I expected it to actually be good. The
Yeah,
whole concept was certainly interesting
right.
because it's based on a short story, which was quite, well panned. I think it not well panned. The other one, it was well received. That's the word.
Yeah.
I have terrible language issues.
Well, that's what I thought it was based on a short story. And like I was saying earlier, the trailer was
Yeah,
compelling. I'm like, oh, okay, I like this idea. You know,
yeah. I mean, the whole idea of what actually counts as being alive, and if there's only one of you at a time. So he's gone.
it's you know what it reminds me of when Trev was talking about before he dropped, and you're mentioning
Hmm,
it right now. What does it mean to be alive? It's kind of like The Island
yeah.
that they're clones and they're just basically there for body parts. And
Hmm,
from your point of view as the clone, no, I'm a legit human being.
hmm.
So was the writing bad, or was it like Trev was saying, was the acting not
Well,
up to snuff, or where did it miss?
I think Robin Pattinson is sort of like, plank of wood. I don't
Plank
think
of wood, yeah.
he's a particularly good actor. I mean, yeah, I missed Mickey 1 through 16, so he can't have been that good. But eh, um no, but I think the writing also kind of let it down. I mean, if you look on the Mickey 17 wiki and just try and follow the plot, it's a bit kind of, they're going to a planet and they want to colonize it, but there's creatures there already, and then it's a case of, do we annihilate the creatures? And it's sort of like, yeah, so it's sort of like a colonization allegory, I guess.
Interesting.
Mm,
I like the chat. I like not Brian's suggestion. Generic
mhm.
questions to keep the stream going. But
That's
then you have
very
to
true.
throw questions at us, folks.
He already has. Lads, what's your favorite movie and why? He says, not Brian. Favorite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie, and I actually posted it on X, was
Hmm.
The Great Escape.
Oh, classic.
Every time it's on, or if we have a like Netflix and it's on, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Start to finish without fail. Great cast, great acting. The story's based on a real story.
It is, yeah.
I mean, think about every actor that's in the film. The British actors are playing their parts correctly. The American
Mm,
actors are who they are. Even the
yeah.
German. I mean, it's just an outstanding film.
Hello,
Yeah.
boys.
Oh, hello.
Trev, you're back. Welcome.
Hey. I was going to say, my one's Top Secret, the classic Val Kilmer
Oh, that's a
movie.
good one too.
It's fantastic.
Let me get that. What did you talk about in my absence?
Your
Let me bring
favorite
you up to
film?
speed.
I, I
Mickey
was,
17, best film.
well,
Now up
just
to speed.
to there we go. Mark
Alright.
Ruffalo plays a Trump character, and he goes full on TDR in this film, and it's just basically him having one big pop at Donald Trump.
Lovely.
That always makes for good entertainment.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's when it jumped
Driving
the
half
shark
your
for me.
audience away. Yeah.
Oh, do you know this guy? Oh, pardon me. I don't know him personally, but some of the stuff he's been doing on Twitter, and I think fucking actors should stay in the lane.
Mm.
If
Oh.
yes, I'm back, Franco. Welcome back, says Sword in the Storm. Yeah, God knows what happened there. I think what it is, the kids have to have 2 devices now, and my daughter has to have 3 devices on, and all while the missus is watching box sets. So they all take the piss with the internet.
Mm.
And Minimum says, TDR. Have you never heard of Trump derangement syndrome?
That's TDS.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, Tom Slick says TDS. I know what I meant. Do you know, I'm really starting, I might go and get a check tomorrow because I think I've had a TIA or something. I've been all over the place these last few days. Been a bit wobbly, tipping over. I mean, I know I'm fat, but I'm not Humpty Dumpty.
You see,
Long
my
day at work, that'll break you.
I was going to say my brain's fried just purely because the kids are on school holidays at the moment. I've spent
Yeah,
a
it's
week
half
with both
term.
of them,
There
and
you go.
I
Yeah.
just want a cup of tea and some peace and quiet. It's almost
I
impossible.
think you need something a bit stiffer than tea, my friend.
Oh, that went within the first 3 or 4 days. I've already used the emergency quick. Let's go to the soft play, so I've got no idea what I'm doing for the second week.
Well, I find lager a good alternative if I haven't got any single malt.
Yeah, I know, but you can't get the kids to drink too much of it, can you? Well, I mean, they sleep well.
Esther
but...
Ranson's going to kick your fucking head in, mate. Brian's come out with a good one. He says Turbo Diesel Saloon.
Yeah.
TDS.
Fair.
Nice. TIA, Transient Ischemic Attack. Yeah. I've had a couple of those before, and a full-on stroke, which was absolute fun, I can tell you. Especially when they forgot about me during a shift change and left me another 8 hours in a room on my own.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
I just went to
That's not
sleep.
good.
I passed out, and that was it. And then they suddenly remembered, and then I went for a CT scan, and then an MRI, and they looked like they needed a shit when they realised they fucked up. But I got a car out of it, so hey-ho, here we go. So, yeah, this is where it kind of lets itself down, because it's just basically Mark Ruffalo. I mean, I can't take him seriously. He sounds like that kid's book. Is it the Gruffalo? In fact, for a while, I thought that was his name, Mark Gruffalo.
I just want actors to be actors and not do anything in politics. And politicians to do politics and not do anything in
Since
acting.
when are these people qualified as political pundits? They're not.
They're not. It's the rise of social media has given them a platform that they shouldn't have. They should... Actors rely on pretending to be other people to be famous. That's the bit. So when they are actually themselves, people just don't like them.
Thank you for the reminder of a few weeks back. TIA, testicular injury on air. That wasn't pleasant. I had a black bollock for about a week and a half. It was weird. It was black, then it was purple, and then, you know, when it starts fading and it's like a greeny blue. It looked like I'd had some cheap underwear on, and the dye had run when I was sweating, and it looked like it had dyed one of my balls. It was weird. These things happen. So, yeah, that's basically the crux of my argument with Mickey 17. While I think it's going to be a turbo flop, it's going to be definitely a turkey, and it's thanks to a shit script. I mean, the story is as well is just fucking dire. I thought, but the trailer made it look so good. And this director, it's the guy who did The Host, that Korean guy, I can't remember his name, that Chop Suey Edwards, I think, or... Well, anyway.
What's his name?
I'm not bothered. Because it,
Bong Joon-ho.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of it kind of jumped the shark a little bit. Ruffalo really gets pathetic with his lefty propaganda, says Hooded Man. True. Franco Walker says, Tia Maria. Thank you for that, Franco. I don't touch it. Kaluuya's about the closest I get to a Tia Maria. But then again, I only like Kaluuya because of Jeff Bridges. You know, from The Big Lebowski, where he's the dude and he drinks White Russians.
I can drink one White Russian and that's it.
Really? I love that.
I don't like
White
it.
Russians. No?
No.
Oh, there's a great cocktail bar near the town near where I live. And they know exactly what I want in which order. It's brilliant. And there's always a guy in there, and he just dances, and he looks like... Remember the guy, the male brother from Sparks, who had the Hitler tash? Was it Ron or Russ? I can't remember.
The one who didn't sing. The one who stood at the back with the keyboard and just stared at the camera. Him.
Just did the thing with his head like he wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
Does anybody in the chat know which one it was? It Russell or Ron Mail? That was the guy with the, should we say, toothbrush mustache?
For those who don't know, Sparks was a band who released some very...
This town ain't big enough for the both of us. Do. Hello to Anti-Derivative Jill. Hail, Jill. Thank you for joining us.
They also released one of my favorite ever songs called, it was a love song that's basically called I Can't Believe You Fall for All the Crap in This Song.
You know, the album, the number one song in heaven, was produced by Giorgio Moroder, and you can tell.
Who?
Okay. Get the fuck out.
I am no good with names. I've said that.
Giorgio Moroder has been like one of the biggest producers of music in the 20th century right till now. You know, Donna Summer, I Feel Love, he wrote that.
Yeah.
and produced it. Electric Dreams, Giorgio Moroder and Phil Oakey.
Oh,
Electric
yes. Okay.
Dreams. He wrote a little song called Take My Breath Away by Berlin. I don't know whatever happened to that. You know, and stuff like Danger Zone for Kenny Loggins.
I felt like
What's
George
little-
Martin was the biggest producer, no?
Well,
Little
probably was in
indie
the
hits,
60s.
yeah.
Brian said it's Ron Mail anyway, so thank you for that,
Nice.
Brian. But I guess it was a thing of preference and taste. Together in Electric Dreams, garbage. The song or the film? Because the film was all right with Virginia Madsen, obviously. I've got a thing for Virginia Madsen. I don't normally do blondes. I just need to get rid of Mark Ruffalo's face, because that look he's doing there sums him up. I think he's a fucking 0 IQ, right? And he just gets paid to say shit. After all, he's a professional pretender.
Yeah.
Jill says in the chat, hail Trev, help desk, and the oldest gamer. Hello love.
Hello, Jill.
He says, Melvin Deeply says, Love Kills Freddie Mercury. That was him too. Yeah, that is a great song. I love that from Freddie Mercury. I've been playing a lot of stuff from the Highlander soundtrack on my radio show.
Well, you can't go wrong with Queen.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Buddy Man says, Take My Breath Away by Berlin was a number one over here. It was a number one everywhere. It was on the Billboard chart for God knows how long. It was a big film, you know, Top Gun at the time. Although everybody says it's just a gay recruitment video for the Navy.
Yeah.
There's only two people I was excited to see in Top Gun. And that was Michael Ironside as Joker. And you'd got Tom Skerritt, who was the boss of Top Gun.
Yep.
Captain Dallas. Arthur Dallas. Although I didn't like Tom Skerritt in Contact. He was a bit of a knob, but then again, that's just representative of the character he was playing at the time. That's an underrated film. I think we might do that on Monday Night Mayhem.
That's a good film.
Yep.
I
love it. I love
Carl
that film.
Sagan. Yep, absolutely. I have the book
Definitely.
too.
And John Hurt in it as well. He plays S.R. Haddon in that, doesn't he?
Contact, is that the one with the giant machine that sends... That,
and it's got
spins lots.
All right in it. Matthew McConaughey.
Yep.
Do you know, there's just such do you know, if I was to ever live in America, if I was ever to move to your wondrous country, gamer, I would have to settle in Texas. It really appeals to me.
Texas is a good location.
Yeah.
Florida, I think you like Florida, you know, our beaches.
The steaks
and stuff,
are cheap.
We have cattle in Florida. We actually originated
You
cattle herding.
know, you've got snakes, Disneyland,
alligators.
You know, Miami. Just look at that. There's only one thing I'd go to Miami for, and that's like filming locations for Burn Notice.
Yeah, the locations down there are really great. But you don't have to live in South Florida. You can live in Central Florida, North Florida. You know?
Oh, I don't know. I've got the impression that it's very humid and I prefer dry heat, like Hudson.
Yeah. Cutting the grass in July. There's no such thing as dry heat here. I'll just vouch for that. Yep.
I'm guessing that Texas has dry heat. Anybody?
Oh
in
no!
Texas?
You go to Houston. Go to Houston. You'll melt.
Why is it really sticky and humid?
Very humid. I've been down there in March and April. And thinking, well, this is great because, you know, having come from the Midwest, you know, freezing to death, this is awesome. But, you know, it's 95 and the humidity is like, you know, or the dew point's like 78. No, you'll melt.
Franco says he prefers Hot Shots to Top Gun.
I loved Hot Shots.
Hot Shots
and Hot Shots Part 2. They were both very good.
Sword in the Storm says, yeah, Hot Shots was much better than Top Gun. Hello to Mog in the chat. Hail, sir. Thank you for joining us. Jill says, I love Contact. Sagan is my favourite person. I remember watching Sagan doing that. Oh God, what was it called? Where he did that thing and he was in that spaceship and he was going around the solar system. Oh God, I was only a kid.
Cosmos, that
was it.
Yeah, it was on PBS here in the United States.
Yeah, it was on BBC One over here back in the late 70s. It really was good. And then you've got Neil deGrasse Tyson doing it. And he's up his own arse.
Carl Sagan, yeah.
I think he's up his own arse, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Franco says the Cosmos. Yeah, that was good. Do you remember that, Melv? It was on BBC One, wasn't it? I'm sure it was on. Oh, Hoodie Man says, yeah, been a while since I've seen it.
So,
Yeah.
question though, Sagan or Brian Cox?
Sagan every time. Brian Cox wishes to be Sagan.
Carl
so
Sagan
does
was
Neil
involved in
deGrasse
the
Tyson.
Voyager probes. He was, he was involved in so much in the space program. I'll take Carl Sagan every day of the week.
Yeah, he lived and breathed it. He just, he even dreamt about, space and everything. And
the selling of it, going on the Tonight Show. I mean, he was everywhere because that's how I actually got into science early on, is because of Carl Sagan.
The thing is, he even sold it to Johnny Carson. That's how good he was.
I mean, how do you sell it to a kid, in the United States, in the 70s, except, everybody watched the Tonight Show. So you go on there and, Johnny Carson make fun of him with the whole billions and billions. But, Sagan would go on there, would be serious about the subjects and everything. And then, like I say, then Cosmos was out, and you would see him, like say on the ABC Nightly News, talking about Voyager approaching Jupiter, and he was totally into it. And describing it's going to do this, it's going to do that. Brian Cox, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know the last time I've seen him on television. Maybe he's on PBS, but I prefer Carl Sagan even since he's passed away.
Melvin says that Maureen that moron deGrasse Tyson ruined it. Franco says definitely Sagan. I agree.
Yep.
This is a good one from Badfoot. Cox is a cock. What does me about Brian Cox is it's like he sounds like somebody on E, like, oh, you ought to see rings around Uranus, man. Yeah, it's far out.
He did very
he's
well.
got that Manchester ring about him,
I mean, I've seen some of his programming. It's not bad, but I would still take Carl Sagan over him.
Yeah. Franco says Neil deGrasse Tyson is a dick. Atom Gray, hello, Sir Hale. Pass on my regards to Smilex. Got to get him on the show.
Oh, that would be outstanding.
Yeah, he keeps. I don't think he uses Twitter because he does.
No, he's on X.
Yeah, I know he is, but I keep sending him follows and just no response.
Maybe he's wondering who the heck you are.
Probably. I've changed my name, haven't I? Yeah, I'd say it used to be Pop Culture Dump, and now I'm just Trev Retro.
Yeah.
Atom Gray says Tyson is high on his own farts. The best thing Tyson ever did was appearing with Bill Nye the Science Guy on Stargate Atlantis. Remember that episode?
No.
Mel, just quickly, just before we go any further, Mel says it aired on the BBC in 1980. Google tells me. Oh, it must have been 1980. I'm sure it was the 70s. Backstage, he's a wanker. What do you mean, Badfoot? Who are you on about? NDT. Yeah, he seems like he's up his. And what does me about him? I can't get a theme tune out of my head. Because instead of DeGrasse, I've got the theme tune to Degrassi Junior High going through my head.
Oh, no.
God, do you remember that show, Gamer?
Yes, I intentionally did not watch it.
Well, for you guys, that's called ConCan, isn't it? Canadian content.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain amount of it in your radio and TV programming. We don't have to adhere to that.
The fourth season of Airwolf was...
Jesus, don't remind me.
That was just
I got 3 episodes in. I couldn't watch it. And Jan Michael Vincent, in a world where there's 8 Jan... No, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing the Jan Quadrant 16 Vincent. But his acting, you could tell he was pissed up. He was drunk.
He was a good angry drunk for the show. I mean, he was the epitome of Airwolf.
Well, the thing is, his peers, who he partied hard with, pretty much the cast of Big Wednesday. So you've got sausage, buttered sausage, Gary Busey, and he's not with it at all.
No.
And William Catt. I like William Catt, Greatest American Hero. I love that.
Greatest American Hero, yeah.
I watched that the first time round on American TV.
Yep, ABC.
Yeah. I remember that. Was it a Tuesday or a Wednesday night at 8 p.m.? I remember that distinctly.
I loved the character Bill Maxwell.
Yeah, Robert Culp.
Yep.
He was just the G-man in everything, wasn't he? He did it so well.
And that's the thing, though, because him coming from I Spy, and that could you pick a better actor to play kind of a jerkish FBI agent?
No,
I don't know that you can really. Not in that era.
I think that role was written specifically for him because
Yeah.
it was almost like a reflection. What's this? Sword in the Storm says, oh shit, did anyone know Mickey Rourke's on Celebrity Big Brother? I didn't even know Celebrity Big Brother was on because I don't watch mainstream TV. I haven't for a long time. And the reason is I don't see why I should have to subsidise people being interfered with. And that's as far as I'm going to go on that subject.
Yeah.
Because I do actually get quite upset about all that business at the BBC.
Yeah.
And then they also ruined a lot of entertainers' careers by implication. Oh, Project Operation U-Tree has arrested so-and-so. And it's people like Jim Davidson, for one example. And a couple of other of these old school entertainers who were completely innocent. Yeah. And if they did take advantage of anybody, they were in the 30s and 40s at the time.
There's was it? I think the highest profile one was Tony Blackburn because he had a show on Radio 2.
He's just do you know? In all the years I've been on this planet, he's probably one of the nicest people I've ever sat and had a chat with and a cup of tea. But because obviously we know a lot of people and we cross paths from time to time. Being in the industry, I hate saying shit like that. But you know, I have.
You met him?
Well, not just once, quite a few times. You know, at gatherings and whatnot, and awards ceremonies. So, you know, I'd probably go, Tony, and he'd be like, I kind of know you, but I can't remember your name. And I'd have to go like, Trev. Oh, yeah. But he's a sweetheart. He's such, honestly, a nice bloke. And he's had a lot of people take the piss with him, you know?
Yeah.
And he is a great guy. He really is. I've never met anybody nicer.
He's had a very long career, but he had a show on Radio 2, and then he was implicated by U-Tree, and he lost the show, and someone else took it over. And then when he was found innocent, Radio 2 had to give him a completely new show as an apology.
Good. Franco says Robert Culp ate dog biscuits in real life, then introduced the trait to Bill Maxwell. He did. Bill Maxwell was renowned for eating dog treats. What's this? Sword in the Storm says Trev's doing a showbiz flex. Yeah, a little bit, because he's such a nice guy. He really is a nice bloke. You know, and it's refreshing to meet people who you think are going to... You see some celebrities and you think, oh, they are really nice on the TV. And then you go up to them and they turn out to be a piece of shit. You know? And it's... A lot of them, they're just fake. And Tony Blackburn, what you see is what you get. He just enjoys being on the radio, just enjoys the music. That's pretty much why I do what I do. I just love that thing about my whole ethos when I'm doing my shows is the fact that somebody might be having a really fucking shit day and a tough time. But if I can give them a shout out on the radio or play them a song, what just makes them forget about the shit for 3 or 4 minutes, and I put a smile on their face, I'm doing my job. That
you might turn their whole day around by doing something.
Yeah. I mean, years ago, I'd been in a couple of situations where people rang me in pure desperation because they got nobody else they could turn to. And they were on about ending themselves, and, you know, I'd have to try and talk them down. And it's tough being put in a position like that.
Jimmy Carr has said something similar about one of his shows. He went to do a live show, and a woman came up to him and said, "Thank you, I'm on my 5th year of extra time." And he asked her what that was, and she said that she was waiting for her one night in her 20s, she was waiting for her family to go to bed, and she was going to end her life, and she was looking for something to do to pass the time until they all went to sleep. And she ended up watching 8 out of 10 Cats. And she was so transfixed by the humor and just how funny it was that she forgot to actually do anything. And so she didn't. And she said that the entire reason that she is alive today is because of Jimmy Carr's comedy.
God.
And I think that's a really positive story, that people can find, you know, the ability to carry on because of fun and humor and
Mm.
just stuff like that. And it's really sweet.
Just a bit of interesting stat stuff here. We've got a total of 64 people viewing, 16 on YouTube, and the rest are all on X. So hello to everybody on X. Thank you.
Hello.
Franco
Hello,
Walker
guys.
says Tony and Kenny Everett were good friends. They were good friends. Kenny Everett was my hero. It broke my heart the day he died. Interesting fact about Kenny Everett and Freddie Mercury: they got that thing off the same person. You know that
Really?
that particular
Deficiency syndrome.
Yeah. They obviously got a bum injection from the same person. Cartoon Man 154 says, my parents met Blackburn at Alton Towers at a BT Fun Day. Oh, bloody hell. That's good. Sword in the Storm says he doesn't particularly listen to the wireless, but if he's out and about in a shop and a classic comes on, that's different. Franco says, please subscribe and hit the bell end, share, hit like, and select live chat. Thank you, Franco. I really do appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying that wrench. Anybody else wants to be a wrench? I'm looking for more wrenches. I said wrenches, not wenches.
There.
And I'm also looking for more people to join in the live streams, which would be quite good. Right, we've got 10 more minutes left. Anybody want to talk about anything in particular? Because it was kind of ad hoc. I just, wanted to talk about Tron Ares and a little bit about Mickey 17. But we went off on some good tangents tonight.
We
and
did.
me
We
having
kept the show going when you disappeared.
Yeah, and me having technical difficulties was an interesting twist.
Yeah. Did you see the latest on the Fantastic Four? What the
No, I'm really
lead
not
actress was
interested
saying?
in that.
Well, there was a modest interest, but now they're talking about gender politics in the film.
for
And that's what I
fuck's
want to see in a
sake.
Marvel film is gender politics.
Dear.
We knew Fantastic Four is not going to be any good, and
No.
every little leak that comes out from the studio, they're intentional leaks at this point. They're putting them out there to try and pretend. And
Yeah,
it's
I think
just-
they're
it's
trying
getting
to
worse
keep
and worse.
interested. They're falsely generating interest
Yeah,
because they know for a fact they're going woke. So I think they're trying to limit the amount of broke.
yeah.
Which is
and-
surprising because all the talk that they've maybe righted the ship, they haven't righted anything.
No.
Well, I mean, this is still even if they sacked everyone and got a whole new set in who were going to do it properly, you've still got at least a year and a half before anything they do is actually ready for production.
But
So
wouldn't it
can't
be
they
better
just
to
make-
not release anything for 2 years than
then they'd go
releasing films that
bankrupt.
you're going to lose money on?
Yeah.
Why is
they'd
it
just go
so
bankrupt.
hard for people in the entertainment industry to make a film that's just enjoyable, what people actually want to watch, instead of trying to force feed shit down people's throats? That's people we're rebelling. Everybody's had enough.
Yep.
It's like that song by Twisted Sister. You know, the one with Niedermeyer in it. Do you know that one, Gamer?
Oh, when they're in the classroom?
Yeah, we ain't gonna
we're not
take
gonna
it
take it. Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. People are. It's like a Coke bottle. The pressure's built up. There's going to be a pop, and this woke is going to be. It's going to be out the window. And it wanted, all these big banks trying to steer society in a certain direction. I'm sorry, you can't financially blackmail people into doing what
Yeah.
you want as an agenda. Fuck
Yeah.
right off.
Yep.
Everybody. I hope, in the grand scheme of things, or everybody who's done anything wrong over the last 10, 15 years, and by wrong, I mean anything underhand or, stuff that's tried to destroy our ways of life. I think people need naming and shaming.
Yeah.
Personally,
there
I'd
should be
like
a
them all
reckoning.
rounded up and hung
Yeah.
live on TV. It's probably a bit
Oh.
extreme, but the
That's a
ratings
little
would be
bit
fantastic.
I think the litmus test of this is whether or not Naked Gun is going to be any good.
I think it's going to tank. I think it's going to be shit. I don't
it's
think
gonna
Liam
tank too.
Neeson has got the comedy chops to pull it off.
It's, for me, again, cautiously optimistic. I don't think you will ever do better than the original Naked Gun,
Correct.
but there is the potential that it could be good because Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor until he accidentally got into comedy with Airplane. So it's entirely possible that Liam Neeson could do this, and they're sticking with what he's most known for, with things like Taken, with all blood, gore, and stuff. It is entirely possible that it could be good, and I really, really hope it is.
Well, it could be A New Hope. Brunks.
I think they're teasing the old fans. There's that part of the trailer where they show the old characters on there, and then you got O.J. Simpson, and it's like his son, and he kind of looks at the camera like, no.
You see,
that's clever. I don't know that it's enough to get me to go to the theater, because when I first heard that they were doing this, even before there was a trailer, that was my initial reaction. How are you going to top Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah.
And you're not wrong about him being a straight actor, but now go back and watch Forbidden Planet and a bunch of films that he's been in as a straight actor, and you can see, but you can hear the comedic tinge in his acting. If you go back and look at it, not that he was trying to do comedy. I mean, I just watched an episode of him on Hawaii Five-0, that being Leslie Nielsen, and he's deadpan straight character, but you can see he's like, no, man, this is the guy from Airplane.
Are we talking about the original with Jack Lord or the reboot?
The original with Jack Lord, not the new garbage.
Atom Gray says he went to the same junior high as Dee Snider from Twisted Sister.
Wow.
Ooh. Now that's a celebrity flex if ever I've heard one.
Yeah.
So I take it you're from New York then, because that's where Dee Snider's from, if I remember right. There or thereabouts.
Franco saying I've just put the nail in the coffin of Naked Gun. Yes, I'm sorry. But if it
the cautious optimism, yeah.
It's because I want it to be good. I really do. This is
I understand that totally. Yeah.
This is the one movie I think deserves to be good out of anything coming out this year.
Sword in the Storm says, has anyone noticed that Taker 2 has an extended harder cut? I haven't. But now I've noticed that. I might try and track that one down.
Yeah,
the best alternative version of a film that I've found and purposely went out my way for was the Donner cut of Superman 2. That's really well worth it.
The extended cut of Independence Day fills in a lot of holes. I actually like that better than the original.
I don't know. I think that's possibly one of the worst films Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich have ever chucked out.
Well, I'm not saying I'm just saying as a film, like if you were to compare the two versions, the extended cut improves it.
I understand your context now.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, speaking of Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, has anybody seen Moon 44?
No.
That's not bad. It's B-movie quality, but it's actually quite worthy of a watch.
Where would I find that if I wanted to?
It's on Roku. It's on the Roku channel.
All right.
So if you've got that.
I found a movie that I've been watching recently. It's on YouTube. It's called, the whole point about it is it's Star Wars Episode 3, but someone has taken a Chinese version and taken the terrible dubbing and actually just turned it into English and then just dubbed it over the top.
Nice.
The movie itself is called Star War: The Third Gathers Backstroke of the West. It almost makes sense, but it's also absolutely terrible, and it is worth a watch.
There's a thing here for you, Help Desk. Melvin says, disagree. I don't think there's ever been a remake or reboot of a film that deserves failure more. Everyone connected should never be allowed to work again for the sacrilege.
Well, that would be like remaking Airplane. I'm sure that's on somebody's agenda, and I won't see that either.
Do you know they actually have...
Cartoon Man says, someone's uploaded Moon 44 on YouTube. It might be just a casual watch for you, gamer. It's not the best. It has its
44?
merits.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. Yeah, what the
I mean,
heck?
it's a solid 4.5. You know?
Yeah.
Don't go out your way for it. Just if there's absolutely no other option.
Is it a good, bad film? Or is it
bad?
Is it well, you know, I mean, a bad film can be good because it's just dreadful. It doesn't fall into that category.
It's on par with Doll Man, and it's less than Robot Jocks. but more than Dollman.
Less than Robot Jocks. Now I'm intrigued. I may have to watch it on YouTube after the stream there, Trev.
That's got to be a Monday Night Mayhem. We've got it. A lot of people, swappers, have been saying, when are you doing Robot Jocks? And I'm like, oh, I'll do it soon.
It's come up more than once, yeah.
This week, we've got, this coming week, RoboCop, the original and best, Peter Weller, Paul Verhoeven, another Ed Neumeyer and Verhoeven collaboration, like Starship Troopers was. The week after that, I owe Z Face Off.
You do, yeah.
So I did say 5 weeks, and not this week. The week after is 5 weeks, so he gets Face Off. I know in the pipeline we're going to do Back to the Future, possibly. Definitely Blade Runner, but director's cut.
Oh, good. Yeah.
We're going to have a good chat about that. And I'm looking forward to that. I did want to bring somebody on board to talk about those films, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot by being a twat.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no names mentioned, of course. No. But we all know who it is, because he does it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I was so disappointed. But
people
never mind.
People, yeah.
Are you going to talk about all the Back to the Future films at once, or just the first
I don't know. I think I might see how it goes. And if it looks like it's going to be a turkey, I might not bother. So anyway, looking forward to Monday Night Mayhem. I didn't put any captions up. And I've done them. Look, just to prove it. There we go. Which is, this is for Monday. Oh, I haven't changed that. I wonder what that's about. That's for Monday for RoboCop. Can you fly, Bobby? That is a great liner. Anybody remember that scene?
I don't. I'm going to have to watch it this weekend.
Fucking money! In the van, you know, before Murphy gets killed. You know when they're behind the van and they've done that bank job, and the guy blew the safe and burnt all the money, and they chuck him out on the hood of that car, the cop car behind him.
Right.
Yeah, that's Bobby. Clarence Bodicker throws him out the back of a van. Can you fly, Bobby? Kurtwood Smith is the bomb in that film. He's the GOAT. The absolute GOAT in that film. So anyway, I've done my captions. I should have put them on screen a long time ago. I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank everybody on YouTube for checking the show out tonight. And everybody watching on X. Thank you for your company. Thank you, Gamer. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Trev.
You're Bondwick now.
I'm Bondwick, yes.
Sword in the Storm says it's a classic quote from RoboCop. Help Desk, I'd like to thank you too for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute blast.
Bar week, gra weep, ninny bong.
Yeah, bar week, gran, weep, ninny bong. That, you know, I really enjoyed Transformers on Monday Night Mayhem. That was really good.
It was a lot of fun.
And a lot of positive feedback. People have messaged me and said, wow, that's brought back some really good memories. And I'm so glad. I'm glad people enjoyed it.
It's nice to help people. It's really good.
Good. Right, I'll catch you all for Monday Night Mayhem. Thank you, chat. Thank you to everybody watching. And please do give the channel a sub. Really would appreciate a sub. And also give the video a like. And please do comment as well, because I love replying to all the comments. I love interacting with you there too. And if you're watching on the re-rub, you know, let me know what you think. What did you think to Tron Ares, the trailer, if you saw it? Let me know your thoughts. Right. Take it steady. Have a good